I'm Debbie with Neighbor Bible Study to Go. I want to share with you how a simple exercise with 4x6 cards can be helpful for you and your family. Years ago, when our kids were little, I wanted to teach them about the attributes of God, who He is. So in times of stress and trouble, like even we're going through right now, they would have the foundation to gaze upon God and merely glance at their circumstances. Psalm 9:10 says, "Those who know my name will put their trust in me, and I have never disappointed those who trust me." And Proverbs 18:10 says, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it and are safe." And so we did this weekly. You can do it daily with our children. We colored in a bubble letter, and chose our favorite name for God. Put it up on the pantry door, and that day or that week, we concentrated on how God was awesome. We'd look outside, I'd look to scripture or Bible stories, and even at night when we would pray, we would thank God that He was awesome. The next day, we would add to our pantry door the B, and we would do exactly the same thing. And what's amazing, it was so fun for the children, but at night, we would review every night. God, you're awesome. God, you're big. God, you're caring. God, you are dependable, and so on and so forth, just in a praise. Well, when times would come when my daughter would be fearful at night, she'd hear thunder and was really afraid, and our son Matt had an accident when he was 8 that was very traumatic, and he would have nightmares. And so I would hear their cry, and I'd go to their room, and I'd kneel by their bed and just say, "Mommy's here. Who wants to start?" And what that meant was, all of a sudden, one of them would say, "A, God, you're awesome." And then I'd say, "God, you are big." And then they would say, "God, you are caring." And what was amazing, by the time we got through 10, 11 letters of the alphabet, they would be fast asleep, because what happened was their gaze was taken off their circumstances, how they felt, and put on God. A great way to just demonstrate that is when I was teaching my children how to ride their bikes without training wheels, I would tell them, put your gaze on Mrs. Rooker's front door. Don't look back, don't look down, because wherever your gaze is, you will follow. And in the same way, during this time, in this season, let's train ourselves, let's remind ourselves that the truest thing about us is what God says about us. And the truest thing about our circumstances and situations around us is what God says. I want to invite you to go to NBS2GO.com, and you will find some resources there. Actually, I've developed a Bible study that you can do, and just with 4x6 cards yourself. And you can either do the 40 days, 40 Psalms, 40 days, and I have the example, or you can do the whole book of Psalms, where you go through the Psalms looking for the different attributes and qualities of God. I just encourage you to not only build your children's strong tower, but that you too would learn how to gaze upon God and merely glance at what's going around.